The tradition of spring cleaning is going to start soon for most of us. Spring brings us warmer weather, and although it's a tradition that normally ends with a tidier home and cleaner spaces, the process of decluttering can actually bring a sense of relief and improve our mental health. Joining me to discuss the mental health benefits of spring cleaning is the head of clinical operations at BetterHelp and a licensed marriage and family therapist, Haesue Joe. Haesue, thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
So before we all start clearing out the cobwebs, share with us, what are some of the mental health benefits of spring cleaning?
Sure, and before I get that, I do want to talk about why is it that we even talk about spring cleaning? We're all very familiar with this thing, and where does it come from?
That's a good
point.
And
I think, there's something to be said about this feeling of starting anew with new growth around us. I think a lot of us associate spring with new flowers blooming and new plant life around us. And it really feels like this refresh, starting anew, and taking inventory of our spaces. And now into our homes, not so much looking at plant life, but getting rid of things we no longer need or things that don't serve us anymore. So some of the benefits of spring cleaning for our mental health, of course, can be seen in studies. People have actually looked into this stuff and researched and seen that working from a decluttered space can help us focus. Cleaner spaces help us make healthier choices even, believe that or not. And organizing things in a designated space. I think we all kind of know if we have a proper place for our things, we don't spend as much time and we don't get as stressed looking for that stuff.
Yeah.
How many of us know somebody that's constantly asking, where are the keys?
It's true. And now that you mention it, every spring when I go to that donation box or give clothes away, in addition to cleaning, it does give you a sense of relief almost, is the actual feeling that you have. How does your team at BetterHelp actually measure the mental health improvements as associated to an activity like spring cleaning?
It's an interesting question because I think the benefits of spring cleaning specifically aren't typically looked at as a measure of mental health. But there are general known trends in research that can be applied to anybody. Some of the things that I had kind of discussed before. And, one thing is super clear. Very depressed people often have cluttered, messy, and or dirty spaces. And sometimes people need help with decluttering and cleaning. And spring cleaning is a great opportunity to, take charge of your day, take ownership of your space. And the ways that we can see that there's benefits to this is if you happen to be in therapy and you're working through something and maybe you talk about setting a goal of cleaning up your space, you can talk about with your therapist how this has impacted your mood. You mentioned something about feeling relieved, but we can also have a simple experience of finishing something from start to end and, being able to feel focused and feel like we have space in front of us to make good decisions. This is a great way for us to see some of those benefits emerge.
I think the popularity of Marie Kondo's book about tidying up really brought it home to a lot of people that you're giving yourself permission to let go of things. And what is scientifically the visualization of decluttering? What is it about that helps our mood?
I don't think it's so much about the decluttering itself that we're visualizing, but visualization itself is a very powerful tool. In sports, we've seen that research show that just visualization is known to be helpful for rehearsal, for optimizing performance. In therapy, there's mental health and mental imagery, which helps us understand and work through challenges and problems. With our mood, it can be very much improved and impacted when we just see ourselves, when we imagine ourselves with this clean space, going through some of these motions. The practice in your mind's eye gives you the sense of accomplishment that you can do it because you've seen yourself doing it. So, when you see yourself gain the benefits of decluttering, there's this boost of feel good, like you said, that allows us to build upon a motivation that we can continue adding to ourselves.
Yeah, it's satisfying. What are some tips for the best way to begin spring cleaning that will actually boost your mental health? Is there a specific place to start?
It can be very challenging to figure out where you're supposed to start, especially if you're feeling very overwhelmed with all the things that you feel like you need to get through. So it's good to set aside a designated time so that you're not trying to do this while thinking about a bunch of other things at the same time. You want to break it up into different sections, into digestible pieces, rather than looking at your entire home and thinking, I got to get this cleaned up today. You can give yourself some smaller bites in terms of tasks. I'll do the bathroom today. I'll look at my office tomorrow, setting aside time. After all, Rome wasn't built in a day. And I think a really good tip is to pair it with another activity that you do find very pleasurable. So this could look like, putting on your favorite music, podcast, audiobook, or even getting on the phone with a friend while you're going through these motions, or inviting some of your support system over to help you out too.
Yeah, podcasts have been a game changer, I think, in terms of getting boring housework done. It really helps the time go. Well, Haesue Jo, head of clinical operations at BetterHelp and a licensed marriage and family therapist, thanks so much for your expertise and sharing your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and hope you have good luck with your spring cleaning.
I'll get going.